It's somehow almost been 2 years since Season 5 released, which makes me feel like a relic at this point. Season 6 was planned to be out after Rogue Core, but obviously things have changed. This was possible due to a collaboration with another development studio, Invisible Walls, who I'm sure is watching this right now. Hi, Invisible Walls. Relics of Hoxxes is a season all about archaeology and valuable artifacts to collect. The additions here are focused on exploration, including a new biome, mission type, enemies, and of course, it comes with the usual round of cosmetics. I'm not going to waste your time here, let's look at that new biome already. With DRG descending further into Hoxxes comes the discovery of the planet's 11th region, the Ociary Depths. It is an impressive display. Many of the remains here are exclusive here, and they're from creatures larger than we've ever seen before. Some of these glyphids are pretty big, you can stand in their skulls. Good thing they're long gone, right? They're not. There's none of them around anymore, right? The density of historical evidence down here is a marvel. If I were one of these dwarves, I'd be in awe. Maybe take pause for a moment in this sea of the dead and ponder my part in the destruction of this planet, now tearing its way not through just another region, but a physical atlas of this planet's history, haunted by the remains of dozens of species that we take part in annihilating for the sake of immense wealth.
Big bones! Big bones! Big bony bones!
Okay, never mind, they don't care. They don't care at all. They don't give a shit. Ociary Depths is the first new biome since 2021, and I have been waiting a long time for this day. I'm always hankering for new places to explore. They add a nice layer of variety across the board. You know, every mission type getting some new cave shapes is pretty cool. Besides the bounty of bones, Ociary Depths does have a couple distinct geological features to point out. You'll notice right away the walls are painted with protruding mineral beds. These can actually be pretty handy for traversal, which is kind of cool, occasionally acting as a nice platform to vault onto. This biome is jam-packed with stalagmites and stalactites, many of which connect to create aesthetically pleasing columns. These can paint a pretty picture in dimly lit caves. Beyond archaeology and geology, there's some entomology to be done here too. Ociary scrabs are the most prominent of the bugs here. These beetle-like fellows both fly and crawl around. Either way, they're gonna attack dwarves. They reside in little bone nests littered throughout the caves and attack anything that gets near them, kinda like swarmer hives. Scrabs have armored elytra that protects their weak point, in turn making them more vulnerable while airborne. It's likely that they'll attack in large swarms as well, and they can quickly overwhelm their target. I wouldn't call them extremely difficult to deal with, but it is a new threat to learn your way around. Freezing them is pretty effective, and I don't recommend using a pickaxe unless you got a power attack ready. They take too many hits to be dealing with them like that. Out of all the critters in the game, scrabs are very bugs. They remind me of the Hercules beetle, if you've ever seen that guy. I sold so many of those bad boys in Animal Crossing New Leaf. I don't know who was buying them, it was like hundreds of these beetles. I'm pretty fond of the scrabs, sadly. I think they're kinda cute, but I can't say the same about their older brother, the Pitjaw. This guy's gross as hell. Pitjaws combine the disruption of a cave leech with the burrowing of a glyphid menace, and create a pretty substantial threat overall. They're tough to spot in the ground, and before you know it, you're trapped in its jaws. If you do see it beforehand, it usually burrows before you can get through its whole health bar, and then you have to go find it somewhere else. For the most part, these Ociary critters reside in their home biome, but they have been found all across the planet. Word around the block is this Ociary infestation is caused by the deep scans that we started doing last season. Don't let Mission Control know that I told you that, though.
Management reminds you that any rumors linking Ociary activity to the deep scan operations of the company are just that, rumors.
In any region, you can find 2 new warnings, Pitjaw Colony and Nesting Grounds. These pretty much go how you'd expect from the name. I like that Pitjaw Colony's difficulty changes depending on the biome. It's much easier to spot a Pitjaw in sandblasted corridors versus Azure Weald, for example. There's one more Ociary bug wandering all over Hoxxes, but he's chill as hell and he doesn't even attack you. He's pretty cool. But he does lead to something very valuable, so you do kind of have to shoot him anyway. This is the Bone Collector, and it's a heavily armored fella who just flees to its nest when attacked. And thankfully, he leaves a convenient breadcrumb trail to follow. Once you dig into the wall, you'll find DRG's favorite thing, a shiny new rock. Ocium is a blue and purple crystal that seemingly grows out of fossils. They're the season event this time around. Gather as many Ocium shards as you can. Each bone collector nest has anywhere from 2 to 6 deposits from what I've seen, and won't come without a little fight. Though compared to other season events, it's much tamer. Also, despite its very pretty appearance, Ocium apparently smells terrible.
Ew! Are they supposed to smell like that?
I'm very relieved to have a season event finally focused on exploration for the first time. A few years back, I critiqued seasons saying that across the board, events are a bit too cookie cutter, typically being some kind of mini boss or difficult enemy wave fight, like they introduce some new crazy threat. This Ocium raid event feels much more like an extension of the overall DRG experience, and that's a breath of fresh air. That being said, I do wish there was a bit more variety in the nest generation themselves. They all look pretty similar and don't ever get very complex. It'd be cool if there was more long and winding nests to navigate. But hey, I'm not complaining. I'm not fighting another conscious rock that hates short men. I'm good on that stuff. We got enough of those. I don't know what's going on, but this archaeology theme has me wanting to spew cool facts at you, so I thought it'd be worth mentioning that there is actually a mineral that grows out of bones and fossils. It's called Vivianite, I think I'm pronouncing that right, and it looks like this. This forms in marshy conditions where iron is present and the oxygen is low. I was just wondering if there was a mineral that grows out of bones, so I looked it up and hey, would you look at that? Bones aren't the only fossils you'll be seeing this season. Management has introduced their 10th mission type titled Heavy Extraction. Mining crews have been tasked with excavating large resonite deposits and shipping them back up to the space rate. DRG claims they don't know where resonite comes from, but I just feel like they don't want to tell us stuff half the time. It'd make the most sense if these amber-like boulders originated from Hollow Bow, maybe before the invasive red vines took over the place. Either way, you're going to locate 3 or 4 of these and send them up into space. Resonite can be tricky to spot sometimes. Your dwarf will say a little voice line when it's nearby, and then the terrain scanner will display the deposit after that. Then you gotta dig it out of the ground before attaching some laser rockets to it. In Heavy Extraction, swarms happen randomly and can be triggered by collecting resonite. Keep that in mind when dealing with higher hazards so you don't double up swarms. If you play solo, Bosco can help dig out and secure rockets to resonite, which is really handy. In this mission type, the caves are non-linear. The starting room has a couple paths to pick between. Once those tunnels split off, they will eventually connect back up again, creating a loop. Moment to moment, I'd say it generates similar to Elimination, though swap out the cocoons for big rocks. Thankfully, we don't strap laser rockets onto dreadnoughts yet. That would be rough. Speaking of bosses, this mission type doesn't have any of those. It also doesn't have any defense sections. It's just good old-fashioned collecting rocks. Hopefully this means Heavy Extraction will have more longevity and not get as tiresome as Elimination or Industrial Sabotage. To end things off, we have the usual assortment of cosmetics that you'd expect from a season. The highlight this time is definitely that new framework. Diesel Driven has some of the slickest looking guns so far. I just know that revolver is going to be in every gunner's hands as soon as they unlock it. Besides that, I'd say the hats and beards are the cream of the crop here. I made Benjamin Franklin and I put him in a cage with a bug, so this game's pretty cool, I think. The hair color this time around is pretty good. It's a peacock blue and I like that a lot more than the other blue option we have. And in general, there's a lot of pointy facial hair options this time around, a lot of silly stuff to work with. I don't mind the pickaxe parts this time around too. It's been a while since I thought those were cool, but I like this one quite a bit. To show off the cosmetics in a better manner, I thought it would be fun to just get some footage of some nasty guys this time around. Enjoy. Overall, I think Season 6 is really good. It's funny, a few years back I actually wrote up fake patch notes for an archaeology-themed season that got cut from my Seasons Need to Change video. It's cool to see the theme make it into the game. It was bound to happen at some point, and it just works so well in DRG. Everything feels very cohesive across the board and very well put together. I much prefer this style of season where it isn't constantly upping the ante with some grandiose new threat. Sometimes you just need to add some rocks and some bugs, and that's great too. I've enjoyed my time with heavy extraction so far. I think it fits well within the game. Deep dives also have it as a primary and a secondary, which is great to see. Ociary Depths and its residents are pretty cool too. I always love seeing how a new biome changes up higher complexity missions, and I think Ociary Depths does a really cool job with that. I'd say the weakest part of this season is gonna be the lack of new equipment. For me, Season 6 has my ideal spread of content, but I can understand for some people that would be a bummer to not get new overclocks or new weapons or grenades or something like that. Overall, I think Ghost Ship Games and Invisible Walls have done a good job this time around, and I hope to see Season 7 come a bit sooner now that there's some extra help on board. If I had to give it a score, I'd say it's a solid 8 out of 10 for me. The highlight is definitely the new biome, and the weakest part for me is probably the pit jaws. They're alright, but they do feel a bit samey when compared to other enemies in the game. Let me know what's your favorite part of the season, and what do you think should be in Season 7? Thanks for watching. Rock and Stone.
I'm calling you Percy!